George, that was aside from everything that you've sort of experienced in your football career and the change over to here, that was your first career touchdown too, wasn't it? How did that feel?
It felt great. I mean, just to have fun. I mean, with the school I was previous at, we don't really throw the ball as much, so it was a fun experience just to have and see everybody else having fun also.
I mean, that's, again, I'm sure you've thought about that an awful long time. You figured it would have happened by now, I would assume. So, to have scored 2 in your first game on your only 2 catches, did you reflect a little bit on that afterwards?
I mean, honestly, I've always been a team player, so I never really thought about myself that much. I was honestly more excited about one of my teammates, Rod, having his first catch. He had his first catch in third quarter, or like Charlie getting his first touchdown. So, I honestly didn't think about it too much.
How great did it feel just to kind of get back out there after what you didn't play football for like close to 2 years?
Mm-hmm. It was fun. I was just happy to be out there with the team and just knowing all the hard work we put in the summer and running stadiums and different things. Like, it was just good to see everybody having fun.
Have you seen a quarterback like Tyree?
No, sir. He's really good. Just some of the throws are making me, even in practice, I think he makes some of his best throws in practice. He could throw it so far sometimes, you're just like, whoa, like, he just made that throw.
Knowing what you may have known about him before you got here, or whatever you found out about him before you got here, having seen what he can do and having seen how he's improved as a quarterback, can you talk a little bit about those observations and whether that maybe has surprised you based on what you thought before you got here?
From watching film with Coach Ianello before I came in, I knew he was a really good quarterback, and that was a big reason why I came here. But, just getting a chance to play with him, it's just like a whole nother level. I remember one day he's in the pocket, he dropped back, and I was like 50 yards down the field. And if you watch film, he really it didn't take that much effort. He threw like 60 yards down the field, and I was like, whoa, like, when you watch it on film, it's just kind of crazy sometimes. But he's a really good quarterback. I think he's on the top of the country, honestly.
How much does his level of play help elevate your game?
It just helps because, the offense, it opens up a lot. It's not just myself. Obviously, you got A.J. Johnson and you got K.J. Osborne and even the guys behind us, like Antonio Nunn and Rodney Scott. Like, we have so many receivers that could do so many different things. And to have him, it makes it just easy. We just got to be in the right place at the right time, and he can make the throws.
You mentioned, you were proud of Charlie Jones getting his catch and Rodney Scott for catching a touchdown earlier. As a graduate transfer here, what's your kind of role, and do you mentor them at all?
Yeah, me and Rodney, we actually both from Miami. And so we actually played on the same 7-on-7 team, but he was on a younger group. And so getting a chance to really, since I've been here, get a chance to know him and just kind of show him how to watch film and what to look at when he's studying plays. Because as a young guy, you kind of just looking at film and you're watching it, but you're not really learning sometimes. And so kind of walk him through that and to kind of see his development as a player has been pretty cool.
George, what do you think you bring to this wide receiver core that clearly was pretty good even before you got here? What sort of role do you see for yourself, and what attributes can you bring to that group?
I think the biggest thing, I just be the best me I can be every day. And I try to lead by example more than vocally, because I feel like if I could show you what I can do more than me telling you, then it benefits you a lot more. So it makes you want to listen to what I'm saying. And so, and honestly, KJ and AJ, they do great things. So it's I never really tried to take over their room. It's still their room, but just kind of leading by example and kind of showing the guys, is a certain way to go about things.
How much fun is it for you guys, especially as a receiving core?
Oh, it's so much fun. I don't think it's too many schools that throws the ball more than we do. And the offense we run is awesome. So it's just fun, honestly.
Coach, what has George brought in his short time here?
I just like with George answering the questions. No, as you could see, George is a pretty humble young man. And, through the recruiting process, when we made a decision that we were going to explore a graduate transfer at the receiver spot, we wanted somebody that could fit in the room, but yet add to the depth at the receiver position. And, he alluded to a couple of our younger players in Charlie Jones, Rodney Scott. We think Isaiah King showed some flashes as well on Saturday night as well throughout camp. We're excited about them, but kind of giving us another person that could contribute. And, between Rob Ianello and myself, and knowing people at the University of Wisconsin, and doing our background on George, it was hard worker, almost to a fault sometimes, of putting in too much work on extra to a point, but it was a guy that's going to continue to work hard and help the team, and you could see that he's got the capability, and he had started showing that on Saturday.
How much growth have you seen in Tyree?
Well, from day one, obviously a lot, not just physically, but you just watch his confidence grow, his understanding, some of his personal, confidence as you get more comfortable game by game of what happens. And it's just like sometimes we talk in the recruiting process, we ask high school players, think about your first games, your first varsity game ever, and many guys, it could be their sophomore year, some even their freshman. Then you think back to your last game as a high school player, the game slows down. Well, in college, it gets really fast again, and then the older you get, it slows down, and the game is starting to slow down for him again. His confidence in his receiving core is, you can see him, and that's just not the wide receivers. It's the tight ends. It's the backs. Yeah, he's understanding protections more, and he's taking command of some of those things. Everything you want of a guy who's in his fourth year in the program.
Coach, not every team you're going to play is going to be at the caliber of Delaware State. So as you guys prepare for Temple this week, how are you guys keeping yourselves in check with the reality that it's not going to be easy to score 5 touchdowns in the first half?
First thing we talked about yesterday in the team meeting, as George nods his head, it's what we addressed. And our guys I believe they're wise enough to know that things are going to step up here on Saturday, and Temple's a very good physical football team. Stubbed their toe against their in-city rival, but the games are always close between those teams, and so we have to be ready. We have to be able to match the physicalness that they'll bring at kickoff on Saturday.
Obviously, lots of great things you guys can take away from this past weekend, but what are some things that you guys are trying to focus on as you go into Temple this week?
Well, there's that was the good thing about the game, is that yes, we jumped out to an early lead, but still plenty on film to get better at. Multiple reasons when things kind of show up in the stat line the way they do, but I think we have to establish a little more consistent running game. We played a lot of guys, so as you play a lot of guys, rhythm and things aren't always there. They threw a lot at us defensively, and again, playing someone, even though we were able to put up points, there was a lot of people around the box trying to do maybe some unconventional things and look sometimes, so that did cause confusion. I think there's some things there. Plenty of things to get better at in special teams and on defense as well, but we did create 4 turnovers, and each and every position has their checklist of stuff that we have to do better at. And but many times in coaching, they say, you look forward to, from week 1 to week 2, just because you got the game speed and the live tackling and everything under your belt now. Now it's time to improve and move forward.
George, you've played big opponents. You've played in big stadiums. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen around here all that often. Both of those are at play on Saturday. Any thoughts on that? Any advice that you might give to your teammates about not only playing what some perceive to be a higher level conference team, but to do it in a big NFL stadium?
I think the biggest thing, just take it day by day. Today, just going out there, having a great practice. We got to have a really good practice today, and then go out there tomorrow, have another good practice, and then when we get to Saturday, just worry about Saturday. Temple, Bowling Green, Toledo. I feel like whoever we play is the same team. Just, you got to go out there and execute. It's not about them, it's about you. And so if you execute your job, there's a good chance we're going to win the game. So just going out there and having a good day today.
You're playing Temple this week, team that was upset by an FCS team. What kind of mindset do you think Temple's going to bring into this game?
Oh, they coming after us this week. They don't want to lose two games back to back, especially not at home. And they're a good team. If you look at their past history, they've been in bowl games last several years. They've been in 2 conference championships in the last 4 years, I think. And we just got to go out there and play our best football. I think the phrase is Temple tough. We got to go out there and show them that we just as tough, but not tougher.
Coach, George, anything Temple does jump off the film at you that they do extremely well?
Well, if you look at the score and lower scoring games, so first thing is going to be defensively. I think we've talked about their physicality. It's something they build their program on. I think their linebacker core is excellent, as all three of them. I've kind of said it a few times in some other things earlier today, is that their length and the height at a lot of positions is going to be a lot different than what we saw. So that can, whether it be the physicality in the outside pass rush or batting balls down, things like that can really be a little different than what we maybe saw last week. So I think that'll be a good challenge for us. In today's football, you don't see a lot of 19-17 games anymore unless there's weather conditions that kind of warrant that. So I think defensively it's going to be a big challenge for us. I think they have also excellent size at the wide receiver spot that, you're always worried about, those 50-50 balls and things like that may occur.
Since Matt Outmanowski led your team with 10 tackles, what do you think is going to kind of set the table for his performance this year on defense?
Matt's been a steady backup middle linebacker for us. Matt's a guy who's played as a true freshman. I don't know if we've had a player in our program pick up the defensive scheme faster than Matt. Outstanding student, outstanding teammate. He's quiet leader. But, it's just one of those games that when things happen, we were able to get him on the field and get Khalil off the field. So, but Matt's on a lot of special teams. He knows his role within our program and within the defense. And when his opportunity comes, he makes the most of it.
What do you think? It sounds like he's a quick study. What do you think makes him, quick study to adjust that quickly?
Well, his mother's a teacher, and he's a very conscientious young man. He's an outstanding student. It's important to him. He puts in the extra time. He's got great self-discipline that allows him, obviously, to once he puts the time. He's a guy that is. A lot like George was referring to about watching film. A lot of young players don't really know how to go about it, and that's what you can do so much, but you need older players to do it. But Matt was one of those that when his freshman year, he went back to his room at night and studied his notes and kind of came back the next day and started asking more questions off of those and what he didn't understand. And a lot of times guys are nervous and not confident enough to ask a question, and he did those things, and he's a guy that's going to be where he's supposed to be all the time.
Coach, the graduate transfer is a relatively new sort of phenomenon in college football. Mm-hmm. How do you go about deciding how you want to approach that, who you might want to bring in, and obviously as it relates to George here, but using that as a tool for your roster is something a little bit newer, isn't it?
Yes, we've utilized it, 3 years in a row, but each one's unique in its own right. But most of the time, based on circumstances that you don't always control, it might be where you're not as deep or what you need at the moment at a position. Okay, it could be through injury, it could be through attrition. Or someone just hasn't quite developed at a pace that you are hoping for as you go. And for us, now being in year 4, it's never going to be perfect, as you want your classes, your recruiting classes at each position to have X amount of seniors and juniors and sophomores. But so when that happens, you're trying to find those ways, and some people do it. You can go junior college, you can go graduate transfer, and a lot of times for us, a graduate transfer, especially with an academic school like ours, is that we feel it's a great fit. We feel that person's been in a program that has allowed them, and they've shown the dedication academically to finish school, yet at the same time they have an opportunity to come and contribute. So I know that's a long answer, but it's one. Some of our guys. That we've, 2 of our graduate transfers this year and the one last year, Kennedy Imesbe had 2 years of eligibility. So it's unique in each and every right. So if you can get a graduate transfer, George has 1 year. But, so if you can, it depends on how it goes, you can get guys to kind of fit in multiple, in your classes as they go.
Anything else for Coach George?
Any injuries or anything out of this weekend going into the Temple game? Everybody stay healthy?
That was a nice thing about playing a lot of people. We got to play, I think it was our last count that we went through, 80 people, got in the game. And that's exciting. It's exciting for our young players. I had one of our young men just in my office, and and then he told me, he goes, Coach, it's his 4th year in the program, and he said, Coach, Nico Rosario, I wasn't even say his name. Nico is on the punt return team, but he's, Coach, I got my first 3 college plays. And, that's pretty special. But, right now we're in good shape, and, hopefully we stay that way. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here.